all hands, hoist the colors high.
Hey everybody, good afternoon, evening. It's evening now, it's 7. I hope you all had a good weekend and a good Father's Day, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. It's going to be a little discombobulated today. I was running late, so everything is probably not as good as I'd like it to be, but we'll make do. I mean, what else are you going to do? So the first thing I want to talk about is, I don't know if it's breaking, but it's pretty recent. The shooting of the two, excuse me, political people up there in Minnesota. A guy apparently dressed up like a police officer, knocked on their door, and then shot and killed one of them. I think the other one is okay. Yeah, she was shot several times, and in a related attack. He's out of surgery and is stable. Apparently, the suspect has been identified. Him, 57-year-old Vance Luther Bottler. And there's a $50,000 reward out for his arrest, or information leading to his arrest. And of course, everybody's coming out now saying, "Oh, guns, guns, guns. We got to ban guns, because if we ban the guns, no one would ever die again. We'd all live forever and hold hands and kiss each other constantly, because there'd be no more violence." It's not guns. This wackadoodle would have used a knife if he had to. It doesn't matter to him. He just happened to have a gun and used it. So if we're going to start blaming guns, I mean, if we're going to blame guns, then we should also start saying, "Hey, forks make people fat." Things like that. But we won't, because guns are an easy scapegoat. Everybody's afraid of guns. If you've never seen a gun or never shot a gun, it's scary. They make lots of noise and all that. Like the AR-15. My 12 gauge that I have is far, far more powerful than an AR-15. My 12 gauge will remove body parts. Even if it just wings you, it's going to take chunks out. AR-15, not so much. I'd rather get shot with an AR-15 than a 12 gauge. But people don't understand that. The AR-15 just looks scary, so it's ooh-ah. And I'm sure this guy didn't use an AR-15 if he was dressed like a cop. He probably had a handgun and then shot people. I mean, obviously the guy's got some mental issues. I mean, you don't go around shooting people if you're sane. Only crazy people do that. So this guy obviously was crazy, shot these people. And apparently they had just voted on a bill to not give, benefits to illegal aliens up in that area. And they're saying that's why they did it, or I don't know. There's no reason to shoot somebody. I don't care what they voted for, what they voted against. It doesn't excuse you shooting people. Sorry, I'm really thirsty. But yeah, that's going on. I mean, every day of the week, there's some nut that thinks they have a reason to go around killing folks. And this nut found his reason to go around killing folks. And it's like that idiot, was it Mangione, that killed the healthcare guy, the CEO of the healthcare. Everybody's applauding him. The guy's a murderer. He shot a man in cold blood in his back. Didn't even have the balls to confront him face to face. Shot him in the back and let him die. But he's a hero. Do I think that health insurance companies have some explaining to do? Hell yeah, I do. I think they're all crooked as hell, and they bleed people for what they can get from them, no pun intended, and they give very little in return. But that doesn't give you the right to go and shoot people. Because if everybody got what they deserved, there'd be a lot of dead bodies laying around everywhere you went. So deserve's got nothing to do with it. And it's not a gun problem. I'm telling you, it's a people problem. Like I said, I got a 12 gauge in my bedroom. It's been there for 10 years at least. Never shot anybody yet. It's never attacked me. It's never attacked anybody that's been in my house. So it's not guns. It's a person holding the gun. So we got to get off that bullshit with guns are the big evil in the world, and that's the only reason there's any violence. Is it because no? The reason is because people are idiots, and it all starts with education. But I'll talk about that another time. So the big news right now is Israel bombed the shit out of Iran. Iran retaliated, and I think Israel went back and bombed the shit out of them again. And now it's going back and forth. Trump has made it very clear it's not America's war, and he wants them, Iran and Israel, to kiss and make up. I think even Putin has said there needs to be stability in that part of the world, and they need to work their differences out. And then, of course, you got all the talking heads on TV and on Facebook and all that. Thank you, Damon. Happy Father's Day to you. And I'll get, like I said, I'll get to Father's Day in a little bit. And if anybody's curious, just so you all know, all 18 of you, Ren Jammin, that's my daughter. So keep that in mind. She's just like me. She's a little spicy. But hey, it's a good thing. But anyway, so everyone's telling Israel and Iran they got to make up. All the talking heads on Facebook, X, and all TV are like, yeah, Israel's just a warmonger. They need to learn to back down and blah, blah, blah. Here's my response to that. Unless you live in that part of the world, you need to shut the fuck up. Just shut up because you don't know what you're talking about. I don't care if you, and people say they're Middle East experts are the biggest jokes of all. They make me laugh. Number one, people in Israel live under constant threat of attack. Constant threat of attack. They get missiles launched at them almost on a daily basis, even when there's no war going on. They got people come into their country with bomb vests and blow themselves up and kill their citizens, blow up buses, do all sorts of crazy shit. All that is funded by the morons in Iran. The whole world knows it. It's not like some secret knowledge Israel hasn't told anybody. Everybody knows Iran is probably the single biggest financial sponsor of terrorism around the world. If not the, it's one of. They've said time and time again, I think it's in their constitution, they want to remove Israel from the map. They want to get rid of Israel. That is their whole thing. And they're just supposed to sit there and let them do this. They saw an opening and took it. The whole world should be thanking Israel right now. We should be kissing their ass going, hey, thanks a lot. The worst thing that can happen is Iran to get nuclear weapon capability. That is the absolute worst thing that could ever happen, not just to Israel, but to the rest of the world in general. Israel has a definite concern because Iran has said they want to take Israel off the map. How do you do that? You nuke them. If they get nuclear weapons, Israel has a legitimate, hey, this could go south for us really quick. We probably should think about doing something. While the rest of the world wants to pussyfoot around and try to make friends and, hey, we can't. There are some people you can't negotiate with. There are some people you can't take at their word. Iran is one of those people that they say, oh, we're not going to do anything. We just want nuclear power so we can watch Netflix. That's all we want it for. We want it to power our hot tubs and our pools. That's really it. You can't take them at their word. You can't trust them. So if they get nuclear weapons, does America really got anything to worry about? Probably not. I don't think Iran's that stupid. Does Israel have something to worry about? Hell yes. So why would they want to sit there while the rest of the world, talks and talks and talks and tells Iran you can't do that, while the whole time Iran's going, okay, we won't do it, and they don't stop and they keep doing it. Israel has to defend themselves. They're surrounded on all sides by enemies. Every enemy they have has in their constitution they want to kill the Jews. And now one of the people that wants to kill the Jews is close to having like nuclear weapon capability, and they're not supposed to do anything about it except make nice. That is the stupidest goddamn thing I've ever heard in my life. If Canada was our enemy, and Canada had in their constitution, we're going to kill all the Americans and wipe America off the map, and they were attacking us almost daily, and then all of a sudden you found out, hey, they might have nuclear weapons. Are we just going to sit there and hope they don't use them, or are we going to do something preemptively to make sure they can't? I'm willing to bet we would preemptively strike them like Israel did with Iran. It's that simple. We need to stay the hell out of that. We can't condemn Israel for what they did. If we're not going to hold Iran responsible for all the terrorism they sponsor, all the death and blood and murder they sponsor, then we need to shut up when Israel goes, we're not sitting back and letting this go on. We're going to bomb the shit out of them. We need to be quiet. If anything, we need to help them. The whole world needs to rally behind countries that don't take shit from terrorist nations. Iran is a terrorist nation. They have an abysmal human. What is it? I'm looking at. They have an abysmal record when it comes to females. They make them wear hoods. They beat them. They kill them. They when it comes to homosexuality, they kill them, throw them off roofs, stone them to death. They are living in the dark ages. And we're just supposed to ignore the fact that they have nuclear weapons or close to having nuclear weapons and hope they play nice. Well, Israel didn't hope they played nice. Israel wasn't ignoring them, and Israel did what they thought they had to do. So we need to leave them alone. Let them do what they want to do. And if Iran retaliates, we need to get involved because that is a terrorist nation. Terrorists. That's all we should need to know. Oh, Iran's involved. Let's kick the shit out of them. I can't. Well, then again, most of the talking heads that say Israel's, warmongers, have never worked a day in their life. They don't know what it is to struggle. They don't know what it is to live in fear. They have no idea. So, like I said, most of those people I don't listen to because they're jokes. All I know is if I was being attacked or someone was living far away from me, paying for other people to attack me, and I found out they had a weapon they were going to use on me, you're goddamn right I'm going to attack them. I'm not going to wait and hope they don't use it. I mean, really? Does that sound reasonable? Oh, I'm just going to wait. So there you got Netanyahu, and you got the religious zealot, the Ayatollah, who really, I mean, if you don't know anything about Iran, they just, it's a shithole. It really is. Back in the day before these Ayatollahs took over, they were a very modern country, comparable to with like Europe and us. They had cars, everybody could drive, everybody could go to school if they wanted to, everybody could get a job, and all those things. Not so much now. If you're a woman, you can't drive, you can't own real estate, you can't go to school, you can't have a job, you got to shut up unless you're spoken to. If you're gay, they're going to kill you. If you're not a Muslim, they kill you. I mean, why are we trying to make nice with these people? There's nothing about them that screams productive member of society. Nothing. Nothing, not even close. So we're upset with another country going, we're not dealing with them anymore. The country that did it, that's the bad guy, not the people lobbing, not the country lobbing people's heads off or throwing people off roofs or stoning people. Those are the victims. How screwed up of a world do you got to live in where a terrorist nation is considered a victim? But then again, like I said, what was it, last week or last Wednesday? No matter what the Jews do, they're wrong. No matter what they do, they're wrong. Like I said, if a dog gets hit on the street in my neighborhood, somebody's going to blame Israel. It's going to be Israel's fault somehow. That's how it works. That's how it is. And I don't think Israel really cares at this point anymore what people think about it. I mean, they shouldn't. And if you don't think they should do what they wanted, what they did, defending themselves preemptively against a country that we all should be concerned about getting nuclear weapons, that should scare the shit out of us. If Iran gets nuclear capability, that should scare us. So one country says we're not waiting to find out, we're going to take care of it now, and they're the bad guy. I'm glad they did it. And if that makes me a warmonger, I can live with that. I can live with that better than knowing Iran has nuclear weapons. I can live with being a warmonger better than living with the fact that Iran can nuke people. Because it's not Russia or America or even China I'm worried about with nuclear weapons because they're not stupid. They realize what would happen if they started using nuclear weapons. It's those religious zealots living in the desert that concern me because they can justify anything in their head with Allah. And it's not having 55 or 60 nuclear weapons that worries me. It's having one. That's what scares the shit out of me. A crazy dude with one is where my concern is. And I'm glad Israel dropped the bomb on them. I hope they don't stop. I really don't. I mean, I'd like to say bomb them back to the Stone Age, but we're talking about Iran. You throw a couple firecrackers in there and you're putting it back in the Stone Age. So they just need to bomb them until the threat's gone. Either we need to help them, the rest of the world needs to get behind them and help them, or we can't complain anymore about terrorism. We got to shut up about it because here's a chance to get rid of one of the biggest financial sponsors of terrorism, and we're not. So we have lost any ability to complain about terrorism anymore anywhere in the world. If we sit back and let this go on, we don't help because we have a chance now. And if we'd rather play, neighborhood nice guy, which is great, but we can't complain ever again about terrorism. Can't. because we're not trying to help eradicate it now. We're just sitting on our ass going, well, we don't want to get involved. It's not our war. They need to make nice. We can't complain ever again. Seriously. Do I want to get into a war? No, I don't. But I don't want Iran to have nuclear capability either. It's not like I said a minute ago, we can't trust them. Every time we've trusted them, they've bitten us on the ass. They've taken a big, wet, juicy bite right out of our ass. But Israel's the bad guy. That's it, because they're not waiting to find out what Iran really will do. They're the bad guy. So this is where Israel dropped the hammer. You can see that they targeted as close as they can, if not directly onto cities, which is fine. I mean, and that's another thing. People complain, well, there's civilian casualties. They're killing folks. It's a war. It's a war. Horrible crap is going to happen. No matter how hard you try to keep it from happening, it's going to happen. If Israel were all about just killing folks, just wanton destruction, killing civilians for no reason, number one, the war in Gaza would be over. They would have killed everyone by now. They've had, I think there's only, 30,000 casualties? And the funny thing about that is, in Gaza, the Gaza Ministry of Health doesn't separate civilians from terrorists, or not terrorists, they don't call them terrorists, from combatants. So if 4 guys are killed because they're shooting at Israeli soldiers and they die, they group that in with everybody else that dies. So you could have had 2 civilians killed that day and 25 soldiers killed that day, and now you have 28 deaths. They don't separate them. So number one, that number is skewed. Israel's not out there trying to kill folks. That's not what they're trying to do. They're out there trying to save their ass and keep themselves safe. That's why they attacked Iran. That's why they're attacking cities, because that's where they keep their military, their leaders of the military and their religious leaders, and that's where the nuclear factories are. Why would they bomb somewhere where nobody's at? It would have no effect. They have to go where they're going to go to get the most bang for their buck, and that's where they went. And again, we should not be condemning them. And I don't think, well, let me say this. Secretly, I'm sure everybody in DC is applauding this. They're like, hell yes, somebody finally did something. Hopefully they did enough damage to set back their nuclear program decades. That's awesome. Publicly, they're, oh no, this is ridiculous. Israel has no right to do that, blah, blah, blah. We condemn it. We're not involved. So I think there's talking out of both sides of their mouth coming out of here. I hope they realize that Israel's doing us a huge favor, blasting these desert rats back into the Stone Age. Because like I said, them with nuclear weapons is a threat to the entire world. Not just Israel. I mean, will Israel be top of their list? But to everybody that isn't Muslim, it's a threat. So they got to be dealt with. Israel's dealing with them. And we need all these talking heads that are condemning them, and just shut up. You don't live in Israel. You don't know what it's like to live under constant threat of attack or terrorism or anything. You have no idea what it's like. You can pretend to know that you like. You can claim to be an expert, blah, 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 blah. But until you live it, you don't know what it's like. And I can't imagine what it's like to think every morning, hey, I could go to the bus stop and some crazy dude with a vest could blow up next to me and kill me. Or I could get hit by a missile. Or hundreds of other things that happens in Israel. I don't know what it's like. I can't imagine living with that much stress every day, every moment of my life. So if they took it upon themselves to eradicate one of the causes of that stress, I say let them do it. Applaud it, let them do it, because they got to deal with those people. We don't. Hell, we complain over here when it gets too hot. Oh, it's global warming. We're all going to die. They got the heat, plus getting shot at, plus missiles, plus terrorism, plus. Let them do what they got to do to make themselves feel safe. It's not like they're attacking an ally of ours. They're not like they're attacking a nation that would be considered a good neighbor. They're attacking a state that sponsors terrorism. Power to them. I hope they don't stop. We'll all sleep a little bit better even if we're not going to admit it, if Israel wipes out the nuclear program in Iran. We all would feel a little bit better at night. I know I would. I don't feel, what people say, well, not everybody in Iran's like that. That's great. I didn't say everybody in Iran's like that. I'm saying, too bad. It's a war. It's horrible. It's nasty. Foul things happen in war. That's why they need to be foul, because the more disgusting a war is, the less likely people are to fight in a war again. They're doing something that I believe I would call righteous. And again, they're not out there targeting civilians, no matter what you hear from whatever idiot news outsource or talking head or anybody. Israel's not trying to kill folks on purpose. Trust me. Israel has air superiority in the Gaza Strip. If they wanted to kill folks, like I said, that war would have been over in a week. They'd have killed everybody. They're not the ones that are breaking into music festivals and raping people and beheading people and cooking people in ovens alive and strangling people and shooting them. That's not what Israel's doing. That's what the Hamas is doing. That's what Iran is paying other people to do for them against Israel. And the sooner we realize that we're not fighting a conventional war, and in the broadest of terms, we're fighting a religious war. These people are fighting because they want to spread Islam throughout the world. And if you don't want to have Islam in your country, you're an infidel and they're going to kill you. Perfect example is Israel. How many mosques are in Israel? I think there's like 100, and they're all funded by the government, so they stay in business. How many synagogues are in Iran? 0. How many synagogues are in Gaza Strip? 0. Can an Iranian go to Israel? Can a person living in the Gaza Strip go into Israel? Yes, they can go there for work, for education, for medical issues, to visit, to have fun. Can an Israeli go to the Gaza? No. Can an Israeli go to Iran? No. So I don't want to hear about how Israel's the big bully and they're out there picking on people and trying to unnecessarily kill folks, because that just doesn't sit right, and it doesn't pass the sniff test. So stop, because you just sound like an idiot every time you open your mouth. There's people online, and Facebook is just becoming a cesspool. Really, it is. It's people can go online, sit on Facebook, run their mouth, say what they want to say to everybody because they know they can't get punched in the face. That's the only reason those morons are on Facebook talking what they want to talk, because they know no one can reach out, snatch them up by their neck, and then snatch the life right out of their chest. They know it, so they run their mouth and they talk their BS. Facebook is a cesspool. I go in there now just for laughs, because all the experts are on Facebook talking about this. It's funny to listen to them talk because they don't know what the shit they're talking about. Israel's wrong for what they did. No, they're not. We're wrong for letting Iran do what they want to do for as long as we've let them do it, because we don't want to start something. Start something. Or this is just going to get out of hand. It's going to get worse. Thank God Israel stood up to Iran. Thank God Israel's bombing them. And yes, Iran's attacking back. But really, and that should tell you all you need to know about Iran. There are people who are living below poverty. They can barely feed their people. It's a shithole country, but they got money for drones and bombs and missiles and military and all this. Same thing with Gaza. Hamas can't feed their own people, but they got money for tunnels and bombs and missiles and rockets and guns and training, but they can't feed their own people. But Israel's the bad guy. Israel supported or has supplied electricity, water, food, and medical to the Gaza Strip forever. They allow everybody in the Middle East to come to their country, but they're the bad guys. Only an idiot would think that. Really, only an idiot would say that out loud. Somebody who probably grew up under power lines and ate a lot of lead paint chips as a kid would say that out loud, because they would believe it. Because they heard on Facebook, or they read it online, or somebody on CNN said something. So it must be the truth. We have access to every bit of knowledge this race has ever had at our fingertips. I mean, we can access everything we want to access with these smartphone. And people use it to look up cat memes or funny jokes or TikTok videos of people dancing half naked or people fighting. That's what we use the access to knowledge for. It's kind of sad. But yeah, so that's what's going on in Israel. They're bombing the hell out of Iran. I hope they don't stop. I've read somewhere that they now have complete air superiority over a portion of the country, which doesn't surprise me. And I'm glad they did. I mean, think of it this way. Who would you rather have nuclear weapons, Israel or Iran? What would keep you up at night more? Israel having a nuclear weapon or Iran having a nuclear weapon. I leave it at that. And if you say the Jews having nuclear weapons would scare me, whatever, Joey Bag of Donuts. I don't even consider you an intelligent human being at this point because I think Israel's had nuclear weapons for quite a while now. Bet you didn't know that. All right, so now we got to pay some bills. I'll be right back and we'll get into the next part of the program.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with Alexandra Levine Live on the America's Pulse Network. You are all in with Alexandra Levine. We are still waiting for someone from the White House to come out and tell us what transpired between President Trump and Vladimir Putin on that call today. We are here live at the White House. We're waiting for White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt to come out and tell us about the updates of today, the call between President Trump and Vladimir Putin, what transpired in that call.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
So yeah, like I said, like the commercial, whatever you want to call it, just so there's a lot of programs. We have Damon the Hammer Galdo, Alexandra Levine. We do the Pulse on Wednesday where we get together usually with Tim Fazenbaker, a guest host. Elena Barbera, the bass mother, comes on too. A lot of good people, a lot smarter than me. And I think they're also probably more patient, I would say, than I am. Let me adjust this camera. I'm sorry. Okay. So, yeah, we got done talking about Iran and Israel kicking their ass. Let's talk about this. No King Day. Was it Saturday or the stupidity is like running together. It's like every day there's something new and stupid going on. And in case you didn't know, there's already a day for no kings. It's called Independence Day. That happens every July 4th. We celebrate severing ties with the king and vow never to have a king again. So yeah, I don't like I said, the stupid is getting deep. Number two, if there was a king in this country, do you think he would let you go out there and march against him? I mean, really, you don't think he would crush it? Like, oh, we're not doing that. We're going to crush you all. Blah, blah, blah. And number three, so enforcing the country's laws now makes you a dictator. So he's just to let everybody do what they want to do, when they want to do it, for as long as they want to do it, because he doesn't want to be mean, is what everybody's saying. That's what I'm getting from all this. Let's not be mean. This is a good one. That's why I put this up. Imagine protesting no kings after the Democrat Party skipped the primary, crowned Camilla without a single vote, and tried to kick Trump off ballots only after a lawsuit failed. That's what really gets me. Most of these people that are saying this are Democrats and don't care about it. They don't care about the fact that it was a Democrat president that forced everybody into masks and locked everybody down for 2 years. And you couldn't do this and you couldn't do that. Blah, 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 blah. That's okay. That's fine. But how dare you try to kick people out of the country that aren't here legally? That makes you a king and a dictator. I don't get it. It's not like he's rounding up everybody. They're not even rounding people up. These are people they know they've been here illegal. And like I've said time and time again, the people that are being rounded up in this country that are here illegally have been here for decades. It's not like they've only been here a month. They've been here long enough to initiate the process to become a citizen of this country. And you know what? They don't. They choose not to. For whatever reason. They have year after year after year after year to start the process to become a citizen of this country and not have to worry about this. But since they chose not to, and we finally have a president that has some balls about, hey, you know what, if you're in the country illegally, you got to go. Like any other country in the world, you can't stay here unless you do follow the law to be here. Starts removing these people. Now it's a problem. Now it's not right. There are no illegal people. I mean, borders are wrong. Name me one country that doesn't have a border, that doesn't enforce their border. Look at Poland. They don't let anybody in. Nobody. They got people waiting outside the fence on another country trying to get in there, and they're still using water hoses on them. They don't want anybody in there. But we got to let everybody who wants to come in here come. willy-nilly. Just cross the border, and then you're an American citizen, and welcome. Do what you want to do because it's mean to enforce the law. If I break the law and I'm caught, I fully expect to have to pay. I'm going to have to, serve my time or whatever the punishment may be. So why should they be any different? They're caught. They're breaking the law. Should they not face any type of consequences for their actions? Excuse me, I get the hiccups now. I mean, what is it? We're just going to, like I said, just let people do what they want to do because it's mean? And then they go with, well, you got to separate families. Well, yeah. If anybody gets arrested and they have a family, they're separated from their families. This is not new. This is not like, oh, wow, this has never happened before. What do you think? Prisons are just like big apartment complexes where your family could come live with you while you're in prison? No, they're separated from their families. I don't know why everybody thinks illegal immigrants should be treated differently than anybody else. I don't understand that. I mean, you've got this jackass. I am hopeful that the federal government will hear our pleas and stop the raids. She's the mayor of Shittown right now. I mean, really. She is literally a mayor of a city on fire. And it's not the federal government's fault. It's her fault and Gavin Newsom's fault for becoming a sanctuary state and then letting everybody come in and do what they want. It's their fault. It's nobody else's fault for enforcing the law. It's their fault. And that's another thing. If they hate this country so much because they're flying the Mexican flag and the Palestinian flag, and I think I've seen a Honduras flag every once in a while, go back. Go back to that country. If it's so good that you want to wave their flag in this country and curse us, go back to that country. We'll pay for it. Literally, I think they will pay for your flight back to your country. I hope that the federal government will hear our plea and stop the raids. Well, I hope you'll hear the rest of the world's plea and start enforcing the goddamn law so the federal government doesn't have to. It's a state issue. You should have taken care of this decades ago, but you're too stupid, and we all realize the reason you have them there is because they vote for you. Illegals can vote there, so you let them vote. Yeah, and that's another thing that my daughter just brought up that makes perfect sense. They're comparing this to the Holocaust. If you're comparing deportation, simply being told to leave, to a Holocaust, you are the dumbest piece of shit that has ever walked this land. And let me explain why I say that in such an insulting and disrespectful manner to you. Number one, ICE, local police departments, FBI are not rounding up people solely based on a race or religion, putting them into concentration camps, experimenting on them, killing them. Well, not even killing, exterminating them like animals, experimentation, rape, all the horrible things they did in concentration camps are not being done in this country. All we're doing in this country is rounding them up, putting them in a holding cell, and then shipping them off back to their country. That's all we're doing. We're not killing anybody. We're not calling them less than humans. We're calling them illegal aliens being rounded up and deported. We're not killing them. We're not trying to kill 6 million of them. This is in no way, shape, or form even close to the Holocaust. Not even close. And again, people who say that are idiots. And they're only saying that because they're hoping to invoke an emotional response from people. Because when you hear the word Holocaust, you think horrible stuff. Like that should never happen again. And I agree, a Holocaust should never happen again. So if some moron on Facebook sitting around in his dirty, tidy whities, eating pudding pops, waiting for his mom to make him another Hot Pocket, goes, hey, ICE is doing concentration camps. It's like the Holocaust again. Some people out there who are equally as stupid will believe that and go, oh my God, there is a Holocaust going on. They're doing all sorts of horrible things to these people. We have to stop it. Not even taking a second, just a second to go, well, let me look up what happened in Nazi Germany with the Holocaust. Let me see what's going on with that. Because if you look at that, you'll immediately know there's no Holocaust going on here. Not even close. Not even remote, not even in the same zip code is that going on here. But people are stupid. People are easily swayed. People who already don't like something will latch on to anything negative about that thing. Whether it be true or not, they're going to latch onto it, and it's gospel for them. So in California, there's a Holocaust going on because, number one, they don't like the police. They don't like ICE. They don't like being told no. They don't like laws being enforced. They don't like any of that. They think everybody should be able to do what they want to do, come in the country illegally. We all should support them. And I say we all. I'm talking about the people who work, because the people who support this don't work. They're living off the government tit as is, so they don't care. It doesn't cost them a dime to have all these people in this country illegally. It doesn't matter to them. They're not paying. We are. So they're fine with it. But there is no Holocaust, not even remotely close to a Holocaust happening anywhere in this country, anywhere. And if there is, show me the camps. Show me the concentration camps where we're exterminating these people like animals, like livestock. Show me where they're at. Show me some proof. Show me pictures. Show me video. I mean, really, if you all can find videos of famous people having sex, I'm pretty sure someone out there by now would have found a picture or video of a concentration camp in Iowa. So there's no concentration camps. There's no Holocaust going on. It's law being enforced, and people just don't like it. It's like when you get pulled over by a cop, the first thing you say to yourself is, goddamn son of a bitch. You're not happy to see him because he caught you breaking the law. Nobody likes to get caught. The difference is people with an IQ above 7, you know what? It is what it is. I fucked up. Okay. It's not the cop's fault. It's my fault. He's just doing his job. There are morons out there that will blame the cop for stealing or for speeding. It's all their fault. It's not my fault. It's people who don't like law enforcement to begin with are saying that there's a Holocaust going on. They're trying to make them look bad. Like everybody should hate ICE and the police because there's a Holocaust. They're like the Gestapo. They're out there rounding up families and taking them away in the middle of the night. No one sees them again. Yes, they're seen again. They're seen again in their own country because that's where they get sent. We're not exterminating people. And anybody who says that or who tries to push that out as the narrative, shut up. Shut up. Because you're not doing anything except trying to get likes and go viral and people like you. You're not helping the situation at all. You're making it worse. Because now there are people out there who legitimately believe you and will assault police officers and ICE thinking they're the Gestapo exterminating people. So they've got to be stopped. So just be quiet. Like the mayor of Shittown. I hope the federal government will hear our police stop there. And I hope they don't. I hope they look at her and laugh and like completely ignore anything she has to say because she's one of the causes behind these problems. She's allowed this to happen because they vote. It's a voting block for her. Same thing with the governor. He's allowed this to happen. It's his fault. And everybody who's a taxpayer should be pissed off at those two because we're footing the bill for their mistakes. We're paying for their mistake. We're paying their tab right now. And they could care less. They're more worried about illegal aliens. That's what their concern is. Not about you or me or our tax dollars being wasted because they won't enforce law. So we got to send people in to do it for them. They don't care about that. They don't care. I care because I don't make that much money to begin with. But now my tax dollars are going to California because the leaders in California got the IQ of a fucking flip-flop and have allowed people to do what they want to do. And all of a sudden now we got to get it cleaned up. And now they're upset. But they're not upset that they screwed up. They're upset that, you can't send these people home. They're citizens of this city. No, they're not citizens. You jackass. I don't understand. I mean, name me one country you could go into illegally, and once they find out that you're there illegally, they'll let you stay. I'll wait. I went to Austria with a friend of mine. They will literally come get you once your visa's up if you're not gone. They will check to make sure you've left, and if you haven't left, you will leave that day. They don't ask. They go, pack your shit, let's go. Got to get you out of here. And yes, I know it's a smaller country. Yes, I know that it's easier for them to do that, but I'm just letting you know that there's no country in the world where you can overstay your visa. None. And there's a reason. You're there to visit and you leave. The country can't afford you to be there because you're not paying taxes. You're a drain. You're a poor return on investment. And I can understand that. It's like if you invite someone over to your house for like a week. And then that week turns into 2 weeks. And then it turns into 3 weeks. And they're still eating all your food, using all your electricity, using your water, using your bed. Everything you have, they're using and they're not replacing it. They just take and take and take. And then they invite some of their friends over to come stay with them while they're staying in your house and you want them to go. And this goes on for months. Don't you think it get a little old after a while? Like, hey, you got to go. It's the same principle. You can't just come into another person's country and stay there uninvited and then expect to be treated like you belong there. I'm not saying you starve them to death, but what I'm saying is you find them and you send them home. Make them a sandwich before they leave. Send them home with a sandwich. But they got to go. There's enough problems in this country right now, and hell with the homeless veterans, that this money we're spending on illegal aliens can be used towards mental health care for children. I mean, there's so many more worthwhile projects this money could go to rather than that bottomless pit of illegal immigration. But until enough people say this is enough, I'm not doing this anymore, this is over, it'll never end. Because it's not nice to tell someone, no, you have to leave. And I notice all these people who are pro illegal alien aren't willing to give their home address out so these people could come stay with them for a while. So they can feed them and clothe them and make sure they're healthy and make sure they got a place to sleep and their family and their friends. I don't see them going, hey, come stay at my house. And they never will, because it's not about really wanting to help anybody. It's about looking like you really care. And so when people look at you, go, oh man, Karen really cares about, the illegal immigration. She's out there protesting and, she's fighting ICE. She's trying to save these people. She really cares. No, she doesn't. She doesn't give a shit about the illegal aliens. She just wants to be the wokest mother on the block. She wants to be the super social justice warrior. And that's why she's doing it. Because if she really cared, number one, she'd be offering to pay for people to become the citizens, paying for the process, letting them stay with her. She would be sponsoring people to come in the country left and right. But she's not. None of them are. Because it's not about really helping anybody. It's not about really making anything better. It's about looking really good and sounding really good. So when people see you, they think you care. That's all it's about. Yeah, like my daughter just said, it's like all the celebrities crying. I'm going to put this up here. All celebrities crying about it with millions of dollars. They won't even open an apartment complex for these immigrants. If all the stars in Hollywood got together and they all put $1 million into a pot, they could find housing and get all these illegal immigrants, and not all of them, a vast majority, in the process to become citizens and give them a place to stay that we're not paying for. They could, but they're not going to, because I'm telling you, it's not about helping anybody. It's the woke Olympics, and they're all trying to get the gold. That's all it's about. And don't get me wrong, if you come into this country legally, you follow the procedures, you do all the testing, all the paperwork, I will help you whenever you need it. With open arms, I will help you. But if you come here through the back door and expect to be treated like you've done everything right, no, I'm not. No, there are too many people who've done this legally over the years, the decades, that should be offended that people think they don't have to follow the same process they did. That I won't help them. Out of respect for the people that did it the right way, I will not support illegal aliens. I won't. I can't. It's not fair to the people who follow the rules. And that should piss you off as much as it does me, and it does them. Why should they have to do all the work to become a citizen, and these people just sneak in and don't have to? We're supposed to welcome them with open arms. Why is it okay? It's not okay. It's not okay. And any politician that tries to tell you that it's okay is certainly not a politician in this country, or they don't know the Constitution. Or if your neighbor tells you that you're wrong, or you're a bigot or a racist because you don't support illegal immigration, they're stupid and they're wrong. I could go on for hours about that. But that's that. That's what I'm telling you. California, and my daughter lives in California. I don't know if you all can see her posts over here. She lives in California. She can tell you it's crazy there right now. It's nuts. It's nuts. But it's an easy fix. It's a simple fix. If California back in the day had enforced federal immigration laws, very simple, we wouldn't be where we're at now. It's really that simple. Just like in Israel, Hamas and Gaza want the war to end. It's very simple. Release the hostages. That's all you got to do. Once the hostages come home, the war stops. Once California enforces the law that every other state in the country does, this crap will stop. Once people who have these sanctuary cities or sanctuary states are held accountable, this stuff will stop. Really. It doesn't take a genius to figure out how do we make this problem go away. Enforce the laws, asshole. That's it. That's all you got to do. Very simple. That's why it's written down. So you don't have to think. There's no gray area. It's black and white. This is what you need to do. Do it. It's really that simple. I don't understand why people make it a more complicated situation than it is. It doesn't have to be complicated. And we need to start holding these politicians accountable across the country. If they're not following the Constitution, if they're not putting American citizens first, they need to go. End of discussion. It's that simple. They're American politicians. Why are they concerned about people from other countries being here? Why is that a concern for them? It shouldn't be. That should be an afterthought. It should be, what can I do for my countrymen to make their lives and their home life better? What is it I can do? How can I serve them best to do that? Very few politicians do that on either side of the aisle. But that's what it needs to be. We should come first. Everybody else comes second. And I don't care how that sounds. What other countries are taxing their citizens and sending the money to us? What countries are doing that? None. You would think we're like billionaires, everybody in this country, all the money we send overseas to help people that we would never. We're literally crossing oceans to help people who wouldn't step over a puddle to help us. It's that simple. Stop it. If I were the president, I would shut the borders down completely. Nobody would come in for 2 years. That way I could get this country in a better place. And the only way I can do that is if I can focus on this country. And if I do that, that means I got to shut everybody else out. Sorry about it. We're not the world's police force. It's not on us to feed everybody. We're not here to support you financially. We're not here to make sure everything goes the way you want it to go in your country. I'm here to support and represent my country, my people. And for me to best do that is to shut everybody else out for a couple of years so I can focus on us. Once I get us to a place where I think we should be, in a better place, then we'll talk about opening the borders slowly and letting people trickle in. Until that happens, I am sorry. America is closed for international business as far as that goes. Have a good day and tip your waiter on your way out. I mean, really. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with putting this country in front of everybody else. Does it make us bad? Does it make us evil? Does it make us selfish? It makes us a country. A country takes care of itself. And if you can't function as a country, there's no way you can help other countries. It's really that simple. At least I think it is. Apparently it's not. I guess it's so much harder than anybody else would believe. Oh yeah, this just makes me laugh. This is the Mexican president. That's our president. The Mexican president has said publicly and is quoted, and I'm going to paraphrase her now, that she does not agree with what our country's doing as far as deporting people. She goes on to say she doesn't agree with the tax I guess they'd have to pay to re-enter this country once they're deported. And she's calling for disobedience and, I don't want to say violence, disobedience, and stand up. And, she wants to protect her countrymen. She wants to protect them so much. Why doesn't she make her country a better place so they don't want to leave in the first place? And if they do leave and get sent back, why are you blaming the country that doesn't want the same people you don't want to help for not wanting to help them? Why is it everybody else's fault except Mexico's? Why are we responsible to raise and feed and clothe their people when they can't do it themselves? She lives in what, a goddamn castle by a train track or some crap like that down there? She's living high on the hog. Everybody in the government down there is living high on the hog. Why don't you just take away from your salary? I don't know how much you make, but why don't you cut it in half and start helping the people in your country? No, you're just going to let them go to other countries, then hold the country they go into illegally responsible for them, and then be pissed off when they no longer want to take them in. That just makes about as much sense It's like not wiping your ass because you're just going to use the bathroom again. What she's saying is stupid. They're my countrymen, and I'm going to defend them. But it's on you to financially support them because they're going to leave my country and go to your country illegally. And don't you dare deport them because that will upset me. And you don't want to upset me because I'll keep talking and saying nasty words about you, but do nothing about it. So yeah, she's threatening us because we want to deport her citizens that are here illegally. We should just assume her responsibility when it comes to her countrymen and women and take care of them and support them. That's the way the rest of the world looks at us. We're like the world's biggest social worker, and we're just taking everybody in that we can to try to help them and make everything better for them. And there are politicians in this country that say, that's great, send them over. We'll take them. Kind of makes you question some things, doesn't it? When you hear about it, what other countries are saying about our country. And then they'll say, well, Trump's being, he's rude, he's nasty. We just had another country's president tell us to shut up and take her countrymen in and support them and don't send them back. But if he says something back to her, he's wrong and he's rude. Not the lady that started all this. Him responding is rude. You know what? If I were him, I'd have given her the finger. I just said some very choice words to her. He didn't. But he's the bigot and the xenophobe. And this country has lost its identity. We are everything but Americans at this point. We are no longer Americans. We're hyphenated Americans now. African American, Mexican American, Asian American, German American, Irish American, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. We are not Americans. It's not good enough just to be American anymore. You have to make sure everybody knows I'm not just an American. I'm also whatever. It's not how it should be. I can't remember who. I think it was Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR, I think, wrote the big speech about Americans and hyphenated Americans. And there's only one nation that you should be a part of if you live here. That's American. Nothing else. There only should be one language spoken in this country. That's English. Nothing else. I mean, things that make sense. You're in this country. You're an American. What you were before doesn't matter now, and now you're an American. If it's so important to maintain that, you shouldn't have come here. You should stay where you should go back to where you came from so you can be that. Here you're just an American, and that should be good enough for anybody. And then people say, well, America sucks. Nobody wants to be here. Then why is everybody trying to break in here? Nobody's trying to break into China. No one's trying to break into Colombia. They're not trying to break into South Africa or Brazil or Libya. They're not trying to get anywhere else. They're trying to come here. So I don't believe when people say nobody likes this country. If they don't like it, they're all trying to get here as soon as they can, regardless of how dangerous it is. They're all coming here. And we let them in. Legally or illegally, we let them in. And it's got to stop. We can't sustain it. It will not sustain. We have too much going out compared to what's coming in. And that's not how you keep things going. There has to be more coming in than going out. That's the only way you keep things rolling. But I'm not an economist. So what the hell do I know, really, when you get down to it? So yeah, we got that going on. Got Mexico threatening us now. And we're threatening Israel for taking care of Iran. It's complete and total anarchy. If someone had told me this was going to be going on like 5 years ago, like, hey, Seth, this is going to happen. Israel's going to attack Iran. Everybody's going to be anti-Israel when that happens. There's going to be 3-4 million illegal immigrants in this country, and we're going to try to get them out, and we're going to be the bad guys. Mexico, who has the most illegal aliens in this country, is going to defend them and say that we need to keep them. It's not right to send them home. I would have laughed in his face and said, that's bullshit. No way. That's ridiculous. That's not going to happen. And it's happening. We're the world's baby daddy now. We're responsible for everybody. And the second we have a president or a congressman or senator or anybody in politics that says, no, we're not doing that anymore, they become racist. They become bad guys because it's our responsibility. No, it's not. Never has been, never will be, never should be. It really shouldn't be. Nobody's going to get better. No country will ever better themselves that we are constantly helping, constantly giving them money or giving them aid. They will never get better because once things get rough, all they can do is put their hand out, and we're going to give them whatever they need. That's got to stop. People need to be responsible for themselves. Now, if you have a country that's really working hard and they're bettering themselves and something happens, yes, help them. That's a completely different story. Help them. But if you got a country like Mexico that's been a third world nation for goddamn ever, cut them off. We're done. We're not doing this with you anymore because we're supporting you. We're enabling you to do what you do. And then when we finally say enough's enough, you're going to have the audacity to bite my hand? You're going to bite the hand that's been feeding you for decades? Are you insane? Do you know literally what we could do to your country in 3 days? Do you have any idea what we could do? And then you're going to poke us and give us a hard time because we no longer want to be responsible for your country and your people and here illegally? You're going to call me out? Are you fucking retarded? We need to stop trying to be friendly with everybody in the world because sometimes you can't be friends with everybody. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I've told my son, and I think I've told my daughter, you're not going to like everybody you meet, and you're not required to. You don't have to be friends with everyone you run into. You're going to meet people you don't like. You're going to meet people you don't get along with. Same thing goes with countries. You're going to meet Mexico. We don't have to like them just because of their neighbor. We have to remain civil. But we don't have to be friendly and like them and help them. Obviously, they got no respect for us based on what their president said. So why should we continually be respectful and nice to them? We just need to cut them off. It's like when you're dating somebody and it just ain't working out anymore. Hey, look, it's not you, it's me. I just don't like you anymore. I think you're annoying, you're overbearing, you're stalking or whatever, but it's over. Goodbye. And you cut it off. Doesn't mean you got to be a jerk to him next time you see him. Oh, hey, how you doing? How are things going? That's great. And you move on. We need to start doing this with countries. Hey, great. We had a good run. It's just not working out anymore. We can't afford to pay you. Can't afford to support you. Can't afford to keep everybody in your country healthy and safe. We can't do that. We got our own country. So it's just not working. Good luck. I hope you meet somebody else. And then let it go. Let it go. And that's probably the thing. The Mexican president doesn't want these people there either because they can't afford it. So they're going to make it our problem. They're going to make it us. We're going to be responsible. And don't get me wrong. I understand it's not just Mexico that's letting people come here. There's Asians, there's Chinese, there's all sorts of nationalities, which goes back to the whole everybody hates America, but they all want to come here. But it's not just them. It's that goes for every country. You're responsible for your people, not us. Not us. We've been the babysitter for the world for too long. And it's gotten us nowhere. And I'm not saying we become an isolationist and not be involved. I'm saying we no longer take on other people's problems. We stop sending money overseas to other countries. If you want to come to this country, there's a process. You must follow the process. If you don't, you're gone. If you're leaving a country because of its war or you're a refugee, there's still a process you have to follow. And you will follow the process or you will go. It's really that simple. And if the process is over cumbersome or too much, then let's look at that and see if we can make it a little easier. It shouldn't be a cakewalk to come into the country. There should be some hoops you got to jump through, but there shouldn't be too many. So if there's too many, let's look at it and see if we can simplify it a little bit, make it a little bit more user-friendly. But that's as far as I'm willing to go. If you come over to this country illegal, there should be this due process. They're not giving due process. Well, where was the due process for them coming over? They didn't go through due process then. Why should they get it when they're going out? I don't get it. We're not putting them in prison. We're not executing them. We're sending them home. What due process does there need to be for someone to be sent home? That's what I don't get. And I never will get it. I'll never understand that. We're kidnapping people. How is being sent home kidnapping? You're being sent back to your country of origin. We're not sending you to like the gulag. We're not making you work in the salt mines. You're getting sent home. And if maybe enough of you stopped running from your problems in your country and you stood up and you tried to make things right, you might not have to leave. Maybe your country would get better. Stop making it, again, every other country in the world needs to assume a little responsibility for their country and their people. And how can they make it better? It's not this country's responsibility, and it needs to stop. I'm surprised I haven't had a stroke yet. Jesus. But yeah, that's going on in California. And there's sanctuary. Maryland's a sanctuary state unofficially. Frederick, where I live, is a sanctuary city unofficially. And it's not sustainable. It's not. You can't have an influx of people continuously who give nothing back but take and expect it to continue that way. It can't. It can't. But you can't tell liberal politicians that because they think money just grows on trees and they can just go pluck more if they want it. Well, let me rephrase it. They think money grows on people, the taxpayer. And when they need more, they just tax you more to get more money to help people who aren't paying taxes. And you should be thankful that you can do that, because if not, it's your bigotry or your white privilege or whatever else other little code words they use now to try to guilt you into giving money to some cause that we should not be giving money to in the first place. So whatever the cause is, they're going to, if you don't want to get it down with it, they're going to give you a hard time. But you know what? Take it. Let them give you a hard time. Sometimes I got nothing to say. Sometimes it's just like, did somebody hit you in the head with a baseball bat? Are you really that stupid? Don't answer that question, because some people really are that stupid. All right. Got to pay the bills one more time, and we'll come back and talk about something that's really important.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up, because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution, because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
So that's the network I'm on now. I was on another network previous to this, kind of a joke network. Not going to get into it because they don't deserve an airtime, but here's where I'm at now. America's Pulse Network, just starting all over again, brand new, and it's fun. I mean, I'd rather be here where I agree with the direction and the mission statement of this network, as opposed to another network where I never had a choice to voice what I thought the mission statement should be, and I didn't agree with the path they were going down. So here I am. And I also want to thank Damon Sherrod, who's behind the scenes right now, the producer who's making sure I don't, wet the bed and make some big, huge mistake and shut down the entire East Coast because I hit the wrong button. So thank you. He's also a dad, so happy Father's Day to him, and Damon Galdo, and Tim Fazenbaker, and all the other fathers that are watching. Happy Father's Day. And I want to talk about Father's Day now and fathers in general. I'm not doing that because I want to bash moms or single mothers. God knows I was raised by a single mom. I have nothing but admiration for single women. But hey, this is our day, so I'm going to talk about us. So the first thing I want to talk about is the profound impact of fathers, and 10 things research finds every father should know. Everybody knows fathers are as important as mothers. Fathers have a direct effect on a lot of potential and future issues children may have. How dads shape their children's lives. Fathers uniquely enhance children's development from birth. When fathers regularly engage in caretaking activities like bathing, feeding, and playing with the babies, It boosts the child's confidence and fosters a stronger relationship later in life. It's true. Even if a mom spends more time with the kid doing things like that, there's a bond that's there and it becomes stronger over time. Supportive fathers will curb risky teen behavior. Quality father-child relationships are a powerful deterrent to dangerous conduct in teen years. Boys with absent fathers are twice as likely to become teen dads themselves. A Temple University study found that none of the boys born to teen moms became teen fathers themselves if they had a close bond with their father. So dads can kind of nip that in the bud. Kids with involved dads perform better in school. Children with regularly engaged fathers receive a major academic advantage. They are nearly 40% more likely to earn higher grades, 45% less likely to repeat a grade, and 60% less likely to be suspended or expelled compared to children that don't have involved fathers. The more times dads spend with their children, they develop a greater sense of empathy and a greater ability to control their emotions. If you think I'm lying, tell me. Father's engagement has tripled in recent generations. Modern dads are far more involved with fathers than fathers of 50 years ago. Today, fathers spend triple the number of hours per week on childcare compared to dads in 1965. I guess that's a good thing. I mean, any time you spend with your kids is a good time. Dads promote healthier relationships and marriages for their kids. Your relationship with your father influences your own romantic bonds as an adult. Research shows that children with engaged fathers have more positive, flexible attitudes towards others and a greater skill in emotional self-control. This translates to happier, more committed marriages when they grow up. I'm not going to argue with facts. Let's see this one. Dads rate parenting is central to their identity. Fatherhood isn't just a peripheral role for men. It's the core of who they are. In a 2015 study, 50% of fathers describe being a parent as central to their identity, similar to 58% of mothers. Over half of moms and dads said they always find parenting more rewarding than anything else. I agree with that. The evolution of fatherhood. And I'm reading my notes, so that's why you can see that I'm on my old-ass ancient iPad. Many dads worry they don't spend enough time with their kids. Fathers recognize the importance of quality time with their kids, but often fall short. 63% of dads tend to be harsher critics of their own parenting skills, while only 39% believe they're doing a very good job raising their kids versus 51% of moms. So fathers are more critical, and we're our own worst enemies when it comes to that type of thing. I've never claimed to be the perfect father. My daughter and my son are on here can tell you I am not the perfect father, but I try. And I think when it gets down to it, that's all any parent needs to do is try. You try your best. No one expects you to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to do stupid shit from time to time to time. But as long as it's coming from a place of love and concern, kind of makes up for it. So yeah, fathers are obviously our own biggest and worst critics. A father involved is the best predictor of empathy in adulthood. A 26-year longitudinal study found that the number one factor in developing empathy in adults is a father who participated in their hobbies, activities, and school life. Mother's involvement was important too, but not as strong as indicator as fathers. This research suggests dads play a unique role in modeling compassion and understanding for others. If you go back to like the hunter-gatherer time, and you had the men and the women, and then you had the children of the village, the men were the teachers. The men were the ones that would taught the children how to hunt and how to build things and how to protect and work in a team. The women were the ones that were making nets and haggling about prices and trying to get things, organized and put away. The men were the teachers. And somehow over time, we've lost that. It's not so much a man as a teacher. I mean, I think it's like 78 to 80% of teachers in schools now are female. And again, I'm not knocking women, but when you're talking about a kid, a boy, they need that male role model. They need to be taught by a man because that's who they're going to identify with. That's just my opinion. The far-reaching benefits of involved fatherhood. Father engagement reduces kids' behavioral problems. When fathers participate in their children's activities and schoolwork, kids exhibit fewer disruptive behaviors like lying, fighting, bullying, and hyperactivity. This holds true in even non-traditional family structures. Conversely, when the father is absent, children are more likely to act out in a negative attention-seeking way. I knew when I grew up, my father was a disciplinarian, but I was afraid of my mother. So my mother was never the mom to go, wait till your dad gets home. We were just as afraid, if not more afraid of our mother when we screwed up than we were of our father. Not that my father did a bad job. He was a police officer. He worked weird hours. But that discipline is what molds good people. Dad's mental health has a significant impact on their children. It's not just a mother's well-being that matters. Father's mental health has a significant effect on kids too, even from a very young age. Infants of fathers struggling with depression have been shown to exhibit more frustration and unpredictable behavior. As children grow, dad's untreated mental issues can contribute to greater emotional behavior problems for kids. Remember, you got to remember, kids are sponges. I mean, whatever you do, they see it, they hear it, and they take it in. And that's how they model themselves. That's why I said, parents set the bar. So if dad, since we're talking about fathers, if dad has, depression or some other mental illness and he's not addressing, the children that are around him will assume that's how it's supposed to be. That's how dad or men act. So that's how I need to act. So they internalize that. So it's important. It could be a whole other show, but briefly, men who have mental issues need to get help. There's no shame in that. If you're not feeling 100%, if you think you got depression or anything like that, all you got to do is get help. If your arm is broken, you'd go see a doctor. If your brain isn't working how you think it should, go see a doctor. I mean, really, there's nothing wrong with that. And the stigma of men looking for help has to end. I mean, really, there's nothing wrong with getting help at all. Unless you're perfect like me, then you don't need any help at all. I'm kidding. But yeah, those are some facts about fatherhood. It's Father's Day, and I wanted to get that out because in this day and age where men are called, toxic, masculinity is toxic, and I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need no man. Feminists talking about men are not necessary. Men need to hear from other men that, dude, you're important. Don't let the BS in the background tell you differently. You're important. Your children need you. Your wife needs you. There's a role you play in a relationship that can't be filled. Only you can fill that role. Even if your relationship or marriage doesn't work out and you still have children, you still need to play that role. You need to fill that role for your children. It's so important that they have that. And again, I am not here to knock single mothers or anything like that. That is not what I'm trying to do. I just want to support the guys out there. So we're almost at that magic hour here. So I usually end every show with an opinion, something I've thought about for the week and I've wrote and I want to share with everybody. And again, my opinion doesn't reflect the network, doesn't reflect any of the other podcasters on the network, doesn't reflect my producer who's sitting in the shadows probably going, oh my God, what's he going to sing now? Doesn't reflect any of them. So if you don't like it, it's on me. You can send me the nasty emails and all that. So just keep that in mind. So here's my opinion for today. Fathers play a vital role in shaping a child's life, contributing uniquely to their emotional, social, and cognitive development. Their presence and active involvement provide stability, guidance, and a foundation for healthy growth. Emotionally, fathers offer a sense of security and unconditional love. They model resilience, problem solving, and emotional regulation, teaching children how to navigate challenges. A father's affirmation builds confidence, particularly in young boys who often look to their dads as role models for masculinity, and in girls who gain a sense of self-worth through their father's support. Studies show children with engaged fathers are less likely to experience anxiety, depression, or low self-esteem. Socially, fathers influence how children interact with the world. Through play, discipline, and mentorship, they teach boundaries, respect, and cooperation. Fathers often encourage risk-taking and independence, complementing the nurturing typically associated with mothers. This balance helps children develop strong interpersonal skills and adaptability. For example, rough and tumble play with dads foster emotional intelligence and physical confidence, while shared activities like sports or hobbies build trust and communication. Cognitively, fathers contribute to academic and intellectual growth. Their involvement in reading, homework, or discussion stimulates curiosity and critical thinking. Research indicates children with active fathers perform better in school and are more likely to pursue higher education. Fathers also model work ethic and responsibility, instilling values that translates into career success. The absence of a father, whether physical or emotional, can leave gaps, higher risk of behavioral issues, delinquency, or academic struggles. Yet, single mothers or other caregivers can fill these roles admirably when fathers are unavailable. Still, when possible, a father's unique influence is irreplaceable. Fathers don't need to be perfect. Consistent efforts matter most. Listening, showing up, and being present create lasting impacts. In a world of distractions, prioritizing time with children builds bonds that shape them into confident, capable adults. Fathers are not just providers, they're architects of character, helping children navigate life with strength and purpose. So again, that's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. You can tell me to pound sand. You can send me pictures of your middle finger or whatever. It's just dads are important, and I'm really tired of hearing about toxic masculinity. It's really not that bad. If your dad, be involved. Don't let your ex dictate your involvement. You be involved, and if you have to, you involve the courts. You are just as important as moms. Don't ever think that you're not. Don't ever let somebody tell you that your worth as a father is less than, or it's not important. It is very important. Like I said, I was raised by my mother, but my father was in my life. I don't remember a time when he wasn't there, and I'm glad he was. I try to be in my children's life as much as I possibly can. Sometimes time and distance makes that difficult. Sometimes just life in general makes it difficult, but I always tried to be as involved as I could be. And again, I wasn't the perfect father. There are things I have done that I regret, and I will regret for the rest of my life. But you have to be present. You have to be there. Like it says, showing up and consistency is half the battle. That's how it goes. Be there. Just be there. And men need to build up other men. We need to stop trashing men like women trash other women. They're working on that. Men need to work that out too. I'm 53. I'm sorry, I had my birthday. I'm 53. The days of me having pissing contests and wanting to fight people in bars are long gone. That's not important. What's important is family. What's important is your health. Take care of both, and both will prosper. And there's nothing wrong with telling your friends, "Hey, I can't go out. I'm spending time with my wife, or I'm going to go see my kid." Or there's no shame in that. One of my best friends is married, and I've called him on several occasions. "Yeah, let's go do something." "Well, I can't do something with my wife." There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. As a matter of fact, I respect that more than someone would tell his wife, "Oh no, I'm going to go out." No, you know what? I'm not that important. Hang out with your wife. Hang out with your kids. Spend time with your family. because things can change on a dime. And I can attest to that because in February, I had a really bad health scare. So things can happen unexpectedly out of nowhere that can take you out of the game. So you got to treat every moment like it's the last moment you're going to be able to do whatever it is you're doing. It's the last time you're going to see this person. It's the last time you're going to do this. So it needs to be special. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, being a man is, I won't rephrase that. Being a father, to be a father, it's more than having a dick and making a baby. Really. Any fool can make a baby. Anybody. Doesn't take any skill or great intelligence to make a baby. The skill, intelligence, and compassion come in when you become a dad. That's when you put everything else on hold, and that is your sole focus. And it doesn't stop when they turn 18. You can talk to my daughter. She'll tell you, you're still dad. You still get advice. You still get upset when they do things that you think are stupid. And you still try to correct it. That will never end. And if my son is still on here, you need to take note of that. I will always try to correct what you're doing wrong. I will always try to offer advice. And then there's sometimes that a father will stand back and do the hardest thing in the world and watch their kid fail. Fall flat on their face. Embarrass themselves, humiliate themselves, just really shit the bed. And we don't do it because it's funny. We do it because that's sometimes the best teacher. Like, I can't teach you what failing can teach you. And every once in a while, you got to fail. Because if you fail, you know what you did to get there. Now you know what not to do again so this doesn't happen again. That's the hardest thing as a father I've ever done is watch children fail. It sucks. It's like, hey, I'm going to touch this stove. I know it's hot, but this will be when there's life lessons that they will never. I can tell them all day long it's going to hurt you, but until you touch it and it hurts you, it doesn't register. So yeah, that's the hardest thing I have ever had to do as a father is let my children fail at something and not say anything and not try to prevent it from happening, but allowing it to happen. And then kind of going, hey, you know what you did, right? And then letting them cycle through it and let them pick out the lesson that they should have learned. And I don't know if that'll ever be easy. I mean, because even now, as a father, you want to jump in and go, no, you don't do that. You know, don't go there, or don't say this, or whatever it is. But you know, you got to reel it in. Like, I gotta let them do this. They got to find out for themselves. Now, of course, I would never let them do something that would hurt them. Like, hey, I'm going to go try bungee jumping with a sheet because if Superman can fly, I can fly, and I'll show you. I wouldn't let them do something like that. I'm talking everyday, in general things that, hey, you know what? If you fail it, it's going to suck. But I think you're going to learn something from it. And I think it'll make you a better person down the road. I would never let them hurt themselves like that, ever. Never. And I don't think any father in the world would. Like, oh, I'm going to let them, do something stupid that's going to hurt them. No. I'd rather have my kids have hurt pride than a hurt body. You know what? Pride is, pain is temporary. Pride is forever. Be prideful of what you are. Do a good job. You bruise your pride once, you won't do it again because you'll know what not to do. It's really that simple. And that's all I got to say. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Well, before I get out of here, I want to thank everybody for hanging out tonight. It's been fun. Sorry that the show was very hectic. I was running late. Damon Sherrod put this together for me, so thank him. If anything was wrong tonight, blame me. I hope, again, I'm not here to change your mind about anything or force you to agree with what I'm saying. I'm just hoping I made you think about some things and made you see some things in a different light. And I wasn't, and I hope none of the women that watch this later on think I'm bashing you. I wasn't trying to bash you. That wasn't my intention. So if that's how you took this, I apologize. But it's Father's Day. So I was just giving a shout out to the dads. So please don't take it as anything other than that. And remember, Wednesday night at 8 o'clock on Rumble, X, Facebook, YouTube, and True Social, we do the Pulse. So there'll be me, Damon the Hammer, Alexandra, Tim Fazenbaker, Elena Barbera. We all get together and talk about whatever's going on. It's not all politics. Sometimes we BS around about stuff, but it's a good time. That's Wednesdays at 8. Excuse me. And then down here, you got Alexandra Levine Live, the Jersey Shore, the Pulse. You can go to AmericaPulseNetwork.com to find out the show times and all little things about that. You can get a hold of me at X on Conservative Seth, on Facebook at the Conservative Corner. You can email me here on X, or however you want to. If you have something you want to ask me, you can do that. But yeah, so I appreciate everybody taking their time out this evening to watch it now. And the people who watch it later, I appreciate it. It's pretty cool. You take an hour and a half out of your time just to listen to me vent and talk. It does mean a lot, though. I want to thank the producer, Damon, for putting up with me and probably cringing every time I said, well, here's my opinion, because there's really no telling what I'm going to say, really. Most of the time, to be honest, I throw stuff against the wall, whatever sticks, that's what I'm going with. And I'm just as shocked as you are sometimes by some of the things I say. Sometimes I do, like I have notes, and there'll be times when I'm looking at my notes going, nah, I'm not even saying that. And I'll just kind of wing it. So yeah, I'm sure he's going to have his blood pressure checked after we get done here, and I don't blame him. But yeah, check out the other podcasters. Please, they're just as, if not more entertaining than I am. If you're looking to become a podcaster and this network interests you, reach out to any one of the podcasters, or just go to the X page for us and kind of put a direct message in, and we can talk to you and see how we can help you. If you want to sponsor any of these podcasts or the network in general, again, go to our X page and get with Damon Sherrod. He's the guy that kind of handles all that, and he can kind of walk you through that process. Doesn't mean you're going to be connected to me, so don't panic. But yeah, if that interests you, please, by all means, reach out to us and we'll talk to you. So that's it. It's about that time. I want to let y'all get your day over, get Father's Day wound up and relax before getting back to the grind tomorrow. So have a good evening. Have a good week. I will see you Wednesday at 8 on Rumble. And like I said, on X, we'll do the Pulse. And remember, if you live your life based on a set of principles and not on a party, you're going to live a pretty decent life and have no regrets. So everybody have a good evening, and I will see you Wednesday at 8.